And we are live.
Hello, hello.
All right, we are very random.
We're very random.
Yeah. All right, I want to turn the music down. Just trying to adjust the volume compared to like what you're talking. Skype is so nice to reduce all the other audio while you're on Skype.
Oh boy. So I should keep talking then so you can adjust. Is that what you're saying to me?
No, no, just stop for 1 sec. I think it's okay at the moment.
Okay.
It's like fairly low. I'm not even sure whether you can hear it on the stream or not, but
Hmm.
we'll get some people on at some point that'll tell us that.
Okay. I could probably turn it up. See if I hear myself.
Yeah. Oh, that's true. There was one other thing that I didn't do, which was uh, get the bot up and running.
Ah, yes.
Let's see. I should now go. Boop.
I can hear myself, by the way. So I think we're good.
Well, you can hear yourself. Can you hear the music?
Could not hear the music. But I didn't have it cranked up.
Yeah, this one's weird. It's a little low. Let me try a different one. I think that one was just low. There we go. Hey. All right.
There's the bot.
It has jumped on the call. All right. Oh, that may not work.
That doesn't work.
I have to.
Don't worry about it.
No. Try it again, because now it should work.
Oh, 'cause it's identical.
Oh, I was like, I didn't see anything. I heard you hit enter. Hmm.
Looks like it's not working. That's okay.
It's very strange. Well, I mean, I would like it to be working. Let me see here. I gotta get to the. These icons don't mean anything. So frustrating. Oh, well, I think there may be an issue with the. Um, oh, why can't I see it? Let me try it over here. Problem is this is the wrong view. Oh, this is the view I wanted. All right, now I can put it back. It's gonna be funny because it's gonna sweep across your face.
It did.
I have nothing I can do. Um, the Yeah, so when we were working on the when we were doing it live, the 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 IP the port changes.
Oh.
I wonder if I can do like maybe I should do both because now give it a try. Now it should actually pop up. There it is.
I did see. Oh,
It,
there it is.
yeah, I was gonna say you get the delay. I get to see it right away because I'm just that kind of lucky. Um, I think we're gonna have to add this to this. I wonder if we should add to this episode, or if I should just merge it in and create a new one. Yeah, I think I'm gonna merge it in.
Yeah, it's so new
Oh,
breaks
you
for
know
this
what?
episode.
I did put up a PR for it. I think you may not have,
Hmm. I did not see. I can take a look.
because I got this one here. This is from. This is what we did last week, which looks good. Except we ran into that problem, right? So we did all this work. We ran into the problem though when we were reloading the data because we made all this change with the inheritance for the game item to the digger items. That when because it was using inheritance, it would save it fine. It would save the right type, but because the reference it was using was actually to the base type, it wasn't loading in the additional fields. And that's because of the way that the JSON loader works, not because of anything that we did or didn't do. It's just the JSON loader doesn't by default know how to change types based on the content within it. So we need to update that to make this possible. So if you can, do we want to merge this?
Yeah, go ahead and push it in. You
All
don't
right.
need me to approve it, do you? You can do it yourself right now.
Yeah, now I can do it. Cool. So that now with that being there, I can then pull down get the latest. Go. I'll switch over to develop. I will create a new branch. What I should do, we should do one of these episodes, is decide that we're going to do all command line.
What, Git?
Yeah, we'll do a get command line series for a while.
That one's on you, man. I'll take notes while you do it. I'll be one of your students.
Yeah, it's one of those ones that people are like, you should really learn the command line. I'm like, well, I understand it, and I know a fair amount of it, but it's a little too much. I'm so much faster without it most of the time. Now, with that having been said, one of the things that is pretty neat that I just found out about is Visual Studio now has, I don't know if I have this updated to the latest enough version, but they've actually added now a command line or command tool into Visual Studio. So, like, Visual Studio Code has it, and they've had it the whole time because they kind of are more of a command line tool, right? But Visual Studio has always had like some kind of thing, but it was not great. Some people liked it. I wasn't a big fan of it. It did load certain paths that were specific for development that was helpful. But as far as the terminal itself is just not very good. So where did here you go. Product features? No. Product updates? No. There was a thing that you could turn it on. I'll have to find it for next time. But because I did see it and I was like, oh, that's neat. Because it's also going to be taking advantage of the new terminal from Microsoft, right? I think they're actually calling it terminal. Right, so this is their Git repo for it. But if you come and you take a look at so in the Windows Store, they now have a preview for Windows Terminal. I don't know if they show any of the screenshots. But so, like, one of the things that's neat is you can do backgrounds on it now, and you can have different kind of color coding, and fonts are just better.
Oh, neat. Oh, look at that.
Right? And so now you
all
can
slick looking.
Yeah, so they're making it so they're kind of creating a terminal that people have been asking for forever on Windows. And there's Commander and there's a couple other ones that they've done out there, but it's not like native in the environment. So Visual Studio is actually using this as their tool for the terminal. You're making me yawn.
I'm sorry.
So I don't know. This is pretty neat. I downloaded it on my work laptop and I've been playing with it. You do need the latest version of Windows 10. Well, when I say latest, I think the last the update in July that they did. So
that's pretty recent. I don't know if it is the latest thing, right?
Yeah, I think there's a newer one since then. I've run into problems. I said work laptop. I meant my personal work laptop. Because my work laptop, they still haven't updated it since last year. So I can't do anything on there.
So that was like lockdown for you, huh?
Yeah, they don't they control the updates, and they're like, we don't want to do any updates. I'm like, it's like, well, guess what? Monitors don't work on my computer, so this is not good. Yeah, today I tried plugging it into. They had a chained display port on it, and it's got a USB-C and has all that great functionality in it. Can't use any of it. So, and it crashes daily.
Just because the OS doesn't support any of it because it's so old?
I don't know. I think it's just because they haven't done any updates on it since forever. That and, it's I think it's Dell. It's Dell or HP. No, it's Dell. And it's one of those weird ones where they have all their own tools on there. Just adds to the trouble every time these manufacturers want to put their own stuff on there. At least that's my opinion. The ones I always have problems with are the ones that aren't, made by the manufacturer, or the operating system isn't made by the manufacturer. So we have the code up here.
Right.
I think.
So this is the game save.
This is the game save.
Which the save is working okay because it's getting in there, right?
Yes, the data's getting in there. Well, the game save is fine, except for the fact that it doesn't save any information that lets us know how to load it back out. That's where the real problem comes in, right? So we need to save a little bit of extra data that says this is the type that we're saving.
Okay. So do we add some kind of signature then at this point for each type? Like, how's that going to work? You seem like you have something in mind.
So my thought is in I'm trying to look at where we're doing the save, right? So this is the save call that comes in, and it does some stuff to get the directory, and then it does this build game state, right? So that's calling this one up here. You can see it's highlighted. What we're doing in here is we're doing this nice little function here that does minor get state, and then we're doing the store state. So one of the things that we're doing in here is we're getting this inventory items. This inventory items is what's giving us the current problem. This problem will exist in the store as well because we're doing a similar operation.
It might be worth looking at the way that JSON looks because we were looking at it before the stream started, but I don't think anybody that's watching in the audience had that the benefit.
So the main problem is that that's a store. Oh, I think we have to look at the store items because we don't have any inventory items that have the problem, right? So if you look at this one here, this item on here is a game item, right? This item here is considered a store item, but it contains a game item as part of it, right? So it references a game item, and it references it as a game item, which is the base class type, which is normally not a problem because these are the three fields. You have your ID, your name, and description. It's fine. When the problem comes in is that this down here is still has the base type of game item, but it's actually got a subtype that has additional data types attached to it, right? Different properties attached to it. This is causing us some problems because when it loads, it only brings in the ID, name, and description. We lose all these other features that are on here. This is something we found out at the end of the last show that we ran into this. We're like, whoa, that's going to be an issue for us to deal with. Because when we tried to do the upgrade, what we ended up having is it ended up saying not able to complete it or whatever, and I think we ended up getting an error because it didn't have any data in it. So this is what we're going to try to correct. What I think I'm going to do, and I'm not sure of this because I'm trying to debate. There's two ways that we could do this, right? We could do this one where we do it here, and we can say, type, and we can have something that's going to say, I think chip hopper grade item.
Right? So there would be a string on that object that we serialize. Is that the way that would work?
I don't know whether we want to do it where the name itself is, but this would be a type identifier. I
Okay.
don't want to do a number because it's going to be harder to reason on.
Okay. Okay.
Um, my concern here is if it's here, we won't have the right information that we need to know before we do the upgrade. So my thought is that putting this up here might be better.
Okay. So outside of the item altogether.
Yeah. Because if we put it here instead of here, when this call happened, when this call to like hydrate the state, we'll be able to say, oh, we need this type and hydrate the right type. Now,
Okay.
as I'm saying this, I'm starting to debate whether that's the right direction.
Well, that type is going to define that item down there,
Yeah,
right?
I think it should be it. And I'm going to switch. The reason is that means if we would have this item for sales loader, right? And it would have to know about this type and how to do this thing. And then so would the inventory items would also have to do the same thing.
Uh,
I think what we'll want is we're going to want a builder or a factory that will build this from and take this type and translate it into the right output. Right?
okay. Now, do we want to like just use some kind of like an not arbitrary, but like just a string that we manual put in there? Or do you want to use like some kind of like reflection to pull that type out?
I don't want to do reflection if we don't have to.
Okay.
The reason I say that reflection would make it easier, but reflection adds an additional complexity to the system. It makes the save files then become dependent upon the structure of the application. And so every time we would move the objects or the classes around, all of a sudden this would fail to load properly.
Okay. Okay. That makes sense.
You know, my concern, because the other part is if we want, let's say we want to change the name of this, we don't want it to be chip hopper upgrade item anymore. We want it to be something else. We could leave this as chip hopper upgrade item, but the rest of the stuff will be able to understand what it is. Or we have to keep building like translators. You know what I mean? It adds that level of complexity to it, which is why I like the idea of just having some constants that we'll put into the application that will drive that. Right? I'm not saying we just use a straight string in the application for it. um, I would create a static constants list that we would use. Or I guess static
Okay.
constants.
Okay. As opposed to just some string that we stick in there in the code, we'd have
Yeah,
some listing somewhere at least, so it's not buried.
yeah.
Okay.
So I think. All right. So let's take a look at the minor state one. We'll do first, right? So one of the issues is going to be this, right? So we're actually using the state to create this minor. I think I want to back off of that. I'm concerned, and I think I've even mentioned that I was concerned about the fact that this idea, the state, is involved in this. I feel like there's got to be another way to do it. And I'm still not 100% positive I figured it out. Actually, we're dealing with the get state first, right? So I'll focus on that one first.
Okay.
So instead of this, we're going to want to do a okay. So yeah,
So that's the one we want to define.
yeah. What I'm thinking, what I need to do is actually this inventory items as a list. It's a list, huh? All right. So I think part of what we're going to need to do is on the minor state, right? We're now using inventory item. I think we're going to want to use an
Okay.
inventory item state object
Oh,
because
okay.
we need to be able to store the state.
Because it has its own state, and now we're going to be conscious of it. Okay. Okay. So
Yeah.
let's see how that looks.
Yeah, this is more problematic than I was thinking, Pete.
Yeah. Well, that's programming, right?
Yeah. Yes, it is. Hmm. I'm trying to figure out what the mistake is that we've made, and I'm pretty sure it's related to the way that we're dealing with the the hierarchy.
The hierarchy of the items, of the game items, you mean?
Yeah, yeah. I think it may end up being our issue. Hmm. What did we do here, Pete? I think we painted ourselves into a corner.
Well, hmm,
And so the the thing that I'm trying to ferret out here, right? So here's the problem. So this inventory item, it's great, right? Um, what we may end up having to do is that for each subtype of game item, we're going to have to ask, create a way for it to get its state out.
oh, like do like a two state.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And it's gonna, and then I think we're gonna have to do it in a way that it's gonna be a key value set to load the data back in because we have an unknown type um,
Right.
coming in
So it's
from the
just
JSON.
okay.
So it'll be a key value bag. Um, I think that, I mean, I think it's fine. What we'll have to do is on here, we're going to have to. All right, I think this might be okay. But we have to do. All right, so let me just pin a couple of these files here so I don't lose track of them because I'm going to lose them.
Yeah. Right.
So I don't need by command. Don't need that.
So, so are you thinking you're going to do something where you're going to like iterate through all the properties and then generate that key value bag like we were talking about? Pass
Well,
out.
I don't know. That's what I'm trying to understand. I'm trying to ferret out here with some of the development on this because what I'm thinking is we're going to want to do a virtual function here where we can
Okay.
get game item state
Okay.
or get state, right? And so then this will have a default one. I'm
And is
just
that
going to
going?
put it in here for the moment.
Okay.
Sorry, go ahead, Pete. What was that?
Now that's is the default one just going to give back the default properties,
Yes.
or okay?
Yeah, I think that's the only way that we can. I think that's the only way we can do it. Cause yeah, I think that well. Uh, right, so if we do that there, where was it? That was here, right? So then.
So then that's going to kick back one of those item states with those properties, but like this properties, right?
Yeah, so maybe I think you might be right that what we're actually trying to do here is going to be. Oh, this feels sloppy. I'm trying to think. Let me just do it because we can't actually do it like this. My concern is that with this being like this isn't really an actual bag of types.
It's
Um,
not
but I think what we can do is we can do that, and then we're going to have additional, right?
like
Um,
another collection that gets tacked onto the end.
yeah.
That
So it'll
does
be
get sloppy.
right? So then we'll have something we'll just call props.
Maybe we should call it like complex item state or something. But the props. I don't know. It's weird. It's weird that it's just hanging down there.
I.
Eh,
What do you mean? You want
I
to
don't know
call?
what I mean. It's not a good idea either.
Yeah, that's.
Like I don't like that dictionary just sitting at the bottom in case this is one of the other ones.
It has to. This is for game save state. We got to remember,
Yeah.
like that. What we're trying to do is it's very specialized, right? Um, the this is kind of where I think I was going the direction of reversing some of this and trying to um, trying to reference the idea of the game item pointing to what it is versus what it is pointing back to the game item. Um, so I was imagining if we had a game item. I'm just gonna get rid of these red squigglies. So what if we did it instead of it being like this? We could actually have a item type, and then like something like that, right? So if we add these two types, I don't know. I'm trying to think what the downside is. If we add these two types here, and then on the digger upgrade item, this ref ID would actually be an ID from that type. And you would know it's that because this is the item type that it is. Right? So like I imagined this having possible values of um, uh, chip, upper upgrade, or yeah,
Those are the ones with the additional.
yeah, these are the ones I was thinking of. But I mean, honestly, it could even be, um, I don't know, whatever any of the other stuff would be. Like, I mean, bolts would be, I don't know, repair material. I don't know. I feel like that seems sloppy too. I think there's a data structure problem that we're running into here. But I think we can try this because we haven't really built out a whole game yet, right? So it's not like the whole game's in the way. So if we do, so let's imagine trying to do it this way, right? So we're going to do a new one of these,
Okay.
and we'll do item ID equals item ID, and then name equals name, description equals description.
Return each of those properties.
Yeah. So then, with this being there, we should be able to then. Oh, let me find the references to this. And so we want to do it on. So on here, let me bring this in and pin it so I don't lose that one. So now that this has this here, well, actually we'll leave that one because we don't want to upgrade this one. Like this shouldn't even. I'm wondering if we should mark this as abstract because we won't have just a digger upgrade item on its own.
Right. It is. Right. Right.
So it has to be, you can't use this class.
Right. It
Is what,
can't be instanced as itself.
right.
That's the abstract.
Right. So then here we'll do an override on the get state, right? And so what's kind of nice is we can actually do this where we go, nope. And then we can do, oh, that's not what I.
Base state. Okay.
And then we can now do on the metadata, we can do an add. And then in this case, because Oh, you know what? Well, let's try this out. Let's see. We do slot level, and then make that equal to slot level. Oh,
Required slot level. Is that what it is? Yeah.
yeah. All right, so we should be able to do that. Then do the same thing for the level. Do I even need to do a .2 string? I do. Like, it doesn't know how to do that already. So now the question is, though, what I was thinking is we could actually take this one. I think we could chain it up like this. I haven't done this often enough to know for certain. Do this. Right? And then on this one, then we just need to do the sides.
Oh, okay. So we put that on there, so that's...
Ooh, how fucking tight. Now, here's where I feel like this is where my limited amount of doing this comes into play. What I can't remember is if this...
That base clip, that base dot get state.
It tells me right now. So it's actually going to get it from the digger upgrade item. So this will get it from the digger upgrade item, which then this one will get it from the game item, right? So
So it will drill all the way down.
yeah, and so it should build all the way back up.
Okay, cool.
All right, so then we need to do something similar for this one. Oh, yeah. So we need to add it on here, but this time we're going to do min. Do max. Right. So this will give us the way to get the game save for all this stuff. So what that does still mean, though, right? So now we've made it so we have to have this game item state here, but that means on here we now have to have a yeah, I forget what inventory item had on it. Did I not? Oh, I didn't pin that one, did I?
You lose it.
Yeah.
You have like a good definition.
Yeah, they do. There's actually. Oop. Um. Ah. They're control shifty, right? So now I should be able to do. There we go. So I'll go to that one. So we don't even need name. We just need a count and a game item.
Yep. Okay, cool.
Yep. So this will just have that. Count.
That's a game item state now, right?
Yeah.
So,
Right. So then we got that. All right. So to get this one updated then. So here instead of this, do a select. Oh. Oh, it's not game item state. This is.
it's inventory item state.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now we should be able to do game.
There's game state.
Oh, I'm on the wrong file. I'm in the wrong spot. I thought I was in a different spot than I thought. Let me. I'll leave this for the moment. I thought we were on this part here on the get state, right?
I didn't catch that either. I'm sorry.
So I was like, why am I not seeing the right thing? So now I can do that, right? So that should get the right item state. Oh,
Okay.
right. So that should pull that into our inventory items there for the state. All right. So here's where I was getting nervous. How to handle this portion, right? Because we want to take these from the state. We want to take the inventory items, and we want to inflate it into
The actual.
yeah. And I think
Item,
yeah,
right?
exactly. So we need to do something similar, right? But in this case, we're going to do inventory item. So it's going to be that. In this case, we're going to do a count, which is fine. So we can do that. But the item, this is where we need a factory.
Or can you?
No, we have. So we don't know which type to inflate it with, and the question is, do we want to do that here? I don't think so. I think a factory is the better way of doing it. I think we can add a factory.
Okay, so you would call like some kind of a build function.
Correct.
So you would say item build. And then that, how is that going to have knowledge of the specific type that we want to deal with? Where is that coming from? Or are we just going to have
Oh,
knowledge of
you know
that
what?
within the builder?
We didn't put that in there actually.
We
That was
didn't. That's why I'm asking.
no, we didn't on the. We need to do it on.
It was like the inventory state item
Yeah,
state there.
there,
No,
there.
that was it, wasn't it?
Yeah, this is it.
Okay.
So what I think we don't need to do. Well, I think the question is, do we do it here in the metadata? Since only metadata items are going to be ones that have metadata are going to need this.
Right.
Or we could put it on the base state and just have the default be base. Right? So we could do just make this base.
Mm. So it just kicks. Okay. But would the type be defined up there, or you're saying do that as always give it a metadata with a type in it?
Well, this is not metadata.
No, that's going to be
Yeah,
there'll
that's
be
what I'm
like a
saying.
type up there somewhere, right?
Right, yeah. So
Defined with a
we
prop.
would add the type to the game item state. Right?
Okay.
And then that way it would always have it, regardless of whether it's a base or one that has metadata. I don't.
There's something weird about having to have knowledge of that going in. I can remember to type the right string in there. Feels weird.
What's gonna? Nothing has to type in the right string there. This happens inside of this piece here because it knows what the. So what's gonna? So this
Oh,
happens
so it
here.
knows what it is. I got you. I got you. So it will have knowledge of what itself. It's setting itself.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. So this here is gonna then say like. So then this one would be without caps on it, right? So we'd say this type now will override it with. Oops. Oh, I didn't actually add type to it. So now we would add to this. So this should here be digger upgrade.
Okay.
right?
Yeah,
Uh,
and this is in the digger upgrade item, so there's no guesswork there.
There is no
You know
guesswork,
what it is.
right? And that's the idea, right? And obviously, I want to make this. I want to put this somewhere else. This is
Yeah,
just
well, that was that list or whatever we were talking about, right?
yeah.
Okay, but I get it. Okay, I get it. I get how you're going to go after that.
So I think like we can do it here.
That's yeah, the hopper. You got to put that type in still.
Yeah. Right. So now we'll have that.
Right. So now that type is accessible, so we can set that, so we'll have a sense of what type it is and what to then build.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And then we need the builder.
Right. And I assume that that's going to be on some level a big switch statement. It says if you're this type, spit this out.
Yes. Yes. Trying to figure out where to put this. What are we in here? Services.
It's going to be its own class, right? That builder.
Yes, the class will be its own builder. I was going to add into here. I need to add a. I want to add a static class. Right.
Right. So that's
I feel like this is. Do you know if you do it like this, if do you know if you do it like this, does this actually work? I think this does. I think this does. Thanks, Jim. Yes, the music does. This is supposed to be ambient music, and it is an ambient station. It might be a little bit too ambient.
I can't hear it. I'm listening to death metal. So,
Oh well.
I'm not. I'm joking. I'm just listening to the stream, but
Let's
I can't hear the music.
Let's try. Let's try chill. That was on the World Circuit one, so you know that's going to be different.
I'm just going.
So now we're going to put in a couple of these bad boys here.
Were you asking about the static on that? Is that what you were saying?
So I know you can't do static const. What I wasn't sure is if you do public const on a static class, like
Oh.
these still being available. I believe that is the case. We will find out shortly, though. I will add it to this, and then we'll see. Jim, I hope you had a safe trip home. I'm assuming you're back, unless you're up really early.
Right.
Oh, I did this wrong. Messed that up. Ah, that's great to hear, Jim. That just seems like such a long trip. I don't know how you do it.
Yeah, man. Not yet.
Alright, so I got this in there. That does seem very like open.
Looks like a strange place.
Yeah. It's very different.
How long were you there, Jim? A week. A week too long, I'm sure, too.
I don't know. I have to tell you, I feel like if I was going to go there for any period of time, it would have to be for a while because I wouldn't want to do that trip for for
I
just a
want to get
week.
back on the plane.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, the 5 hours to San Francisco was kind of nothing. I was surprised. It was the longest flight I've ever taken, straight through. So
Uh, yeah. Uh,
it's fine without water or food. That's cool.
yeah. All right. So, yeah. So I think we got this in a good shot. Somebody making a cameo.
Yeah, we had a lost glasses scare,
Oh my goodness.
right? So it, the hotel drank bottled water. Yeah,
But everything turned out okay. You found the glasses.
yes, it
Yeah.
would seem that it's okay. That looks like what she came to show me.
Oh,
So
okay.
I'm going out on a limb. I'm gonna say it was in a backpack at the bottom, but we'll find out after the stream's over.
Poor Allison. I'm sure she was losing it.
Yeah, well, yeah, and it's the younger one, so he loses things sometimes.
I I know. I know it was a big piece of this whole getting these glasses thing for him. So I was like,
Yeah, right. You're aware then. Yeah, you know the drama.
yeah. All right. So I think I'm gonna put this on in here for right now. This builder. I'm trying to think if I'm not happy about it, but I think right now I'm gonna make it a static.
Just roll with it. We'll fix it if it's.
I know. Just it's like as soon as I put the word static, I'm like, it hurts. Like it makes me feel like there's something wrong here, but I don't really know how to exactly fix it.
Ah.
So
So.
it's a good question, and the reasoning that I'm putting it separate is that this is part of how we're doing the save and the load, right? So I want to have that. I would like to try to make as much as possible the digger not know how to save itself. Um, and so this is trying to extract it from that class. This is basically converting the saved information into the items in the game. And what we're trying to do here is like this is the miner's inventory, basically your inventory of items that you have. Um, One of the things we ran into is a problem in the loader piece, and so we're trying to fix how this works. Because last week, I guess it was actually 2 weeks ago. No wonder I couldn't remember what
Yeah.
we were doing.
Yeah, that's
Um,
right. Because we skipped last week. That's right.
yeah, so 2 weeks ago we were having a problem with that, and so we're trying to rectify it now. And then in this case, we're going to be able to take a game item state and then convert this into a builder. And so what we're doing is we're going to have, for a moment, a switch on state type. And this way we can say state types. If it's a base, it'll do the base build. We need to do one for. So this we could actually just do turn new game item. Oh, I don't need from. Right, so I should be able to just do pass in state.
Does not like that. Why is that?
Because we don't have the function yet. We didn't put the hydration functions in.
Mm-mm-mm. Right, right, right. It's not actually there yet.
Right. I think with doing this like this, we actually may need to be able to get rid of the base one and just move it down as a default.
Right, let it fall through to it.
Yeah. Or we can just have that as the catch-all. Hit upgrade. We will there. That'll just make this to fall through. Yeah, so we need to add this one in here. And we'll add this to that. In this case, we'll then return new game. Description. Alright, so yeah, so that should fix that one. Now we need to add one for this one here. This is where things start getting oh, I didn't want to rename it. Oh. This is something I wasn't expecting.
What's happening?
So it's picking up the static from the base type. So my what happens if I try to override it on one of these? Like, if we do a... Alright, so we can actually do this if we hide this with that.
So that'll satisfy that requirement then?
Yeah, so what
new one there?
Yeah, because what's happening is that this new basically tells the compiler, yes, I meant to override the base one. This is another thing about the inheritance that makes me feel weird about this, that we're using it wrong, you know? And you know, there's parts of it that I like that's like, hey, it makes it easier, we don't have to do all this stuff over and over again, but I feel like there's something we're missing. That we're gonna run into. We got hit by it, but we'll see. It'll be part of the learning process, right?
Yeah, I mean, then we'll have to fix it, right? Refactor it out.
Yeah. Let me add it.
Whenever we get around to trying to write the test, I bet you it jumps out.
Yeah. And Joe would be angry at us that we didn't write tests already. So the other part of this, right? So we're doing TODOTDD.
It's TFD, test following development.
Yeah, that's not good. Very.
No, it's not. It's an anti-pattern.
An antique pattern?
Antique pattern.
I mean, it does feel like... oh my gosh. Somebody that knew the solid principles.
Did you ask each individual one? Or did you just say, yeah, no?
Did they knew who Robert Martin was? Or even Uncle Bob? I am... very cool. That is very awesome. It's very... it is very surprising how few seem to be aware of it. Yeah, there's a lot of people that talk about the solid principles and not realizing that Uncle Bob brought it together, calling it the solid principles. I mean, each of the principles themselves was actually created or discovered and formalized by other people. But as far as like trying to create clean code and stuff like that, solid are basically just a way of being able to remember all of the principles that are important for that. So it helps you create good onion architecture and fun stuff. I had a discussion with my current team about that stuff, and I was surprised that only one person was familiar with them but didn't know what they were. I think except for single responsibility. I think that was the only one they remembered.
I started from the beginning.
Yeah.
It was the first one I was able to remember.
Yeah, right. I wonder, do you think a new will allow us to do a base? No. Okay.
No, well, yeah, they don't. Well, they don't really teach development in college. It seems like they teach like computer science.
Well,
in its pure sense.
Yeah, well, you know what it is, and so what really is happening is that in college they're teaching you how to do, they're teaching you how to do it, right? Like there's like how to write a function and how to write an if statement and that kind of stuff, and that's what they focus on. Is like how do these languages work, not really about the engineering principles behind it. And I think that's where we lose a lot, is that part of the problem. The more of which is important because a lot of people going into college, I mean, maybe not so much now, but back at least even maybe 10 years ago, was going to college saying, I want to become a computer developer, and having never done it before because there was a lack of access to it. Now there's way more access to being able to become a programmer, and like the how to do it seems to be a lot easier than how to build good architecture. And that, I think there's even a part of the problem with some of it is that people don't know what good architecture even is.
There's not even really a standard definition, right?
Yeah, exactly.
There's a sort of eye of the beholder type situation.
Yep.
So a lot of it, Jim, you're going to learn on the job by sitting next to the people on your team and how they choose to make, how they go about making their choices, I guess. So I don't know. It's going to be difficult to teach that in college.
Yeah.
But that said, I mean, I don't know. You probably could teach some of the basic engineering principles if you were in like an engineering program as opposed to like a comp sci. I don't know.
I think you might be right. I think because part of what and I think Jim's right as well, basically saying that the professionals teach this don't really value the efficiencies required to maintain and extend code. And in computer science, that's fairly true because a lot of what they're even doing there is because it is science. It tends to be more of like how to try to get to the next piece of it. And so everything that they write is 100% disposable. Like very little of what they're actually writing is something that's like, hey, this is something that's going to be needed to maintain for the next 30, 40 years.
Right. Writing maintainable code for an enterprise that's going to be long-lived is not the same thing. That's a very good point, John.
And I think that's what they run into in the colleges because of the fact that what they're actually doing is they're writing something to process one set of data that's only going to ever be processed once. And next thing they're doing is going to be something completely different, and none of that code has to be able to work for the next set.
Right. Yeah, well, honestly, and on the job too, when you really start to appreciate these things is when you've been somewhere 5 or 6 or 7 or 10 years.
Yeah.
Because you're revisiting even your own stuff at that point, trying to make it better. So it really becomes visible.
Yeah, I really hope one day they're going to get to that point where they'll start getting people doing more of the automated testing and how to figure out how to maintain something for long periods of time.
Yeah, there's still way too many people thinking of it in terms of like it's a nice to have kind of thing, like on these small dev teams. So that's always going to stand in the way.
Yeah. That's why I mean, I tell you, that's one of the things that I liked about like the idea of um, that. Why can't I think of the name of the company that Martin Fowler works for? But like the fact that they do all this stuff, and they're a consulting agency, like they do projects and manage big projects, and like why can't more companies want to do that? You
Yeah,
know?
right. I don't know. There's different motivations, right, for each company.
Uh, I get it, but I don't know. I I'm wondering if there's any company that's like that in the U.S.
I have to
But the
imagine
fact
there's.
someone somewhere is going to see your code later and say WTF. Well, that is
Yeah,
true, Jim. It
yeah,
does.
and you know what? It's almost inescapable because if you write it too good, they're going to have the same reaction. Ask John; he'll tell you.
Yeah.
Why are there so many files?
Oh my God. Why are there so many files? Oh my goodness, that blew my mind.
Right, right.
I was
If you
I
do it
was
too good, they think you don't know what you're doing.
yeah. Yeah. I think I was telling you it's like I was just working on a recent piece of code that's been around for quite some time, and they had one file in one class, and it was basically something called something something service, and it had 150 functions in it.
Oh my god.
There you go, Jim. S stands for single monolithic class.
Right. It's the God function. Jeez.
The God class. It was literally everything was in it, and I was just like, the change that I needed to make in this was affecting a what seemed to be kind of a core piece because all of the functions had at least 8 to 9 references on it. And I needed to change this chain of functions to be able to support this. And I'm like, I have no idea what other downstream effects are going to happen from this change.
Hey, but at
Uh,
least they're all in that file. So,
yeah, it
uh,
was it was 15,000 lines.
oh my God, that's terrible.
Yeah, it wasn't even like 150 functions, but it was 300 lines. It was 150 functions and 15,000 lines. Oh, that's
Somebody should paste in the definition of the single responsibility principle right now in the chat.
from Jim. I know it was, I obviously I try to be, you know, understanding of the situation because it happens. I mean, what are you gonna do?
Yeah,
Um,
that's a whopper. That's in all that time. Nobody walked in and said, "What are you guys doing?" I guess you just changed the functions and moved on too. So
no, I didn't. What
it
I did
goes on.
is
Oh, did you tear it all apart?
I didn't tear the whole. I couldn't tear that whole thing apart. Not for something that should be a fairly innocuous change. But what I did do is I basically created. I added in the idea of like commanding queries, and I took this call and created a query class that was going to do all the same stuff that this function was doing, and all the functions that were related to it, I brought them over into my new class. So my new class is still like 300 lines, which is way too long because even those functions that are underneath of it really should be put out into some other repository classes and some other stuff to get that data together.
Yeah.
So they're not really, they shouldn't be there either, but it will allow me now to have this isolated code base that I can change without affecting the rest of it. Right. So I tried to create a bubble context inside this application that I can start making things good. And basically I took what I'm doing for the moment is I'm using that monolithic class and the call that it was using to do this thing as basically a proxy. So that way all the other stuff that calls into it will still call into that same monolithic class, but it actually just routes out the call to this new function.
Right. So
Or
none
this
of the actual operating code is running inside of there.
correct. Correct. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
gives you
that
the space to work on it now.
yep. And so that exactly, that's what I was trying to do. Is I was trying to just create a space in which I can actually do things because I was completely unsure how this was going to happen.
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes you see that old stuff, even some of the old stuff that that we have all worked on. It's like, yeah, we just did it different back then, I guess. It's like this is not a good idea anymore. But
Yeah.
you know,
Well, he can deal with the fact that I have a variable x, but it's because it's being passed in as part of a lambda expression.
yeah, I like small stuff in my lambdas as well.
I mean, I could name this as like an I for inventory item, but that's why I did it, Jim. And I do agree with you. I wouldn't use it outside of here that way, but that's why I do it. It's kind of the same thing as if you're using an iterator. That he's typically okay with the iterator being, if it's an index value, like being an I or an X. Those are like the few times that he's kind of okay with it.
Well, it's because it's contained in that scope.
Mm-hmm. There was actually a really interesting Martin Fowler. He just came out, just re-released refactoring. He did an update to it, his book refactoring.
Mm-hmm.
And added some new refactorings and some just modernizing of it. The sample application he used in it, which was funny, was in the first one was a video store, like a video rental store. He was like,
Just can't do that anymore.
well, that was part of what he said. He's like, that's the one thing I thought that would last in this book, and it's like nobody here even knows. Like, he was at a presentation. He's like, nobody here probably even has been to a video store, even knows what they are. Like, that's how long ago they've disappeared.
It's true too, right?
Yeah, he was given a presentation at somewhere. I'll have to find the video. I'll share it to you. But it was like one of those ones where he was just talking about his new book and the changes that he made and kind of going through the first chapter. And he obviously had sent a copy of the manuscript to Uncle Bob. And he was talking about Uncle Bob's reaction to some of the variable names and stuff in the book. And he said he had a big red marker, just like a big X through a bunch of the variable names, like bad name, written all over.
Hey, imagine working for Uncle Bob.
Oh man, no.
Oh boy.
Oh boy, he's right. It's funny because like his videos come off as like not super opinionated, but he's super opinionated.
They're pretty opinionated, dude. Like,
but there's times where he'll be like, you don't have to do that, but you should do that.
But do it. But you should.
But you should.
If you don't, you should feel bad.
Yeah. Well,
that's the implied.
Yeah, exactly.
If you want to stink, don't do it.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty funny.
Yeah, he's pretty funny.
Martin Fowler always, I mean, it's funny because he kind of always teases Uncle Bob, but like kind of makes fun of him sometimes, but I think that's just kind of how they interact with each other.
Yeah.
All right, so now what we have done, sorry to step away from the code so long, but this here is we're now got this, we've got the state getting loaded. We're using this new function, which I'm still not super happy about. I'm trying to figure out how to get that even into here. Honestly, I feel like this whole thing shouldn't even be in this class, but that's for another day. I think there's some tricks we have to learn within Visual Studio or in C# to be able to make that cleaner.
Okay.
We have this here that actually gets the state out, so it takes those inventory items and puts out this list.
Okay.
So I think this will do the trick for us. I'm trying to remember how we tested this last time.
Did we just play the game? I think we just played the game.
We did play the game.
You have to load the old game, right?
Well, no, I can't load the old game because we don't have the type in there. So I need to start a new
Added
game.
that type value. That's right.
I should probably actually delete all those all those old games are no good anymore.
Yeah.
Oh, bye.
All that work.
All that work. I try so hard.
Too many chips.
I need to go to the store. I want to buy 3 digger. You want to say diggers. Let's buy 10 bolts too. Oh, okay.
So I've been playing the game, and I don't buy any bolts right off the bat.
No, I was just trying to make it so I didn't have to
my
keep
crappy
switching.
diggers.
I was trying to just avoid having to do the stuff. Yeah. I don't know if Selenium will work in this interface, but we could try it. We definitely do need to put more tests in. And actually, Jim, one of the things you missed in the last couple of streams that we did is we were adding tests in, and it was actually there was oh my goodness, I always forget this guy's name. I'm gonna have to look it up again real quick here because I feel bad.
Oh yeah.
Um. Nope. Name Ivan. Maybe it was called. Yeah, I think that was it. Right. So. No. Man, I'm gonna have to look it up again because what the thing was is he had a suggestion on naming strategies, especially for test naming strategies that I was trying to implement into here. So, um, it's something to. I want to.
Hey, that's a good one.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
All right. Well, we did
Yeah, it's not.
we tweaked the stuff to attain the stuff.
Yes, we can get it quick, right?
Yeah.
Look at it. Is the bit right in the store even?
No, the bit isn't. It was. We took it out.
Oh, there we go.
So there's 500 chips for each. So now we got a large hopper in there, right? So, oh my goodness. So now I should be able to go into the store, and now we have a large hopper available. So what I should do.
And you can get it right now if you sold your chips.
Oh, I gotta sell them. That's right. All right. So let's buy it. All right. So let me save this.
Anything you want now.
Yep. All right. So now let's take a look at this file. Let's make sure it looks okay, because maybe this file is completely wrong. Oh. Nope. No. Shoot.
You know, Jim, we accept pull requests, by the way. It's an open source project.
All right, so now this is upgrades. All right, so now look. Okay, so now in our inventory items, we got this type base, we got type base.
Oh, and you got your little metadata collection there and everything?
And we got the metadata collection.
Nice.
So
now can we read it back in?
So at least it worked the way I expected it to, which is a good place to be.
Right, so the save, like all that worked in the way that you build up the save part. So that's
awesome. So now we need to quit and then restart it and try loading it up. And then trying to apply it. Because that's what we were having a problem is when I tried to actually upgrade one of the diggers, it was failing.
Yeah, because the item was kind of broken, right?
Yeah, exactly. All right, so
if you do inventory, it should be in there. In your bag.
Yep. So we got it.
Large hopper.
I mean, it loaded fine without any errors, so that's a good sign.
Yeah, I think that's progress even. Look, your diggers started up like they're supposed to. I like that feature. That was a good one.
Yeah, that was a good one. All right, so now let's try doing a upgrade. All right, so then we're gonna update.
Who's a good one? Jim was a good one, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It's broken though.
He is broken, but he should still be able to upgrade. Oh, something
Oh,
broke.
no.
Oh no, no, this is a breakpoint because
Ah,
we were testing this, right? Because one of the problems we were having was that I think this is right.
required slot level. Yeah.
Yeah, I think everything looks good. So that means it's actually coming in okay.
Right, and it's a level 1, so perfect.
Yeah, so this should actually be able to get applied. Yeah, I think we put that breakpoint in from before when we were running into this, right? So that's why we were having some problems. So now we should be able to, so to get empty peat, go to the store.
All right, now if we
Oh,
repair
and now we
gem.
got the standard bit showing up because we reached the achievement for the 1,000 chips, which wasn't actually.
Yeah, well,
chips.
we dialed all these achievements down so we could get to them without having to spend the whole time playing.
Yeah. So boom, boom, boom.
You should get some more diggers.
No. I think what I wanted to do is I wanted to do repairs. So I want to repair. Let's say yes.
And boom, it gets going, and it's got 23 in the hopper already.
Because I didn't empty it, right? So,
Oh, okay. Oh, so it transferred it to the new hopper. That's interesting.
Ooh, was that supposed to happen?
No. I mean,
Oh no,
not,
it
not in
dug
my
23.
mind.
It dug 23.
Oh, yeah, right on that dig.
Right on that dig.
Specific dig.
That
Yeah.
first dig. Yeah.
Sam's broken.
Oh, Sam. That's fine, because actually what I wanted to take, that was good, because that looks good. Now here's the problem, right? So if I do, let me do a save. No. Let's say got hopper 2. What I wanted to look at in here, and I probably could have looked at it in that previous one, but in here we now have 2 examples of it, right? Was in the inventory items. Yeah, so this is now account 0, which is good. In the items for sale. So now we have this large hopper in here, but you can see from the last. So, this is even really a good example of it, right? So let me open up the other file. Because what you'll see is in this save, because this was a first save, right? The application built up the object the way it was supposed to. It saved it, and now you see all the information for it.
Mm-hmm.
But you go to the second one, which is where we loaded it from Got Hopper, and then saved it. Now we're seeing it without all the information because it failed to load it properly.
Because when it came back in, it wasn't good. Okay.
Because this is the old method, right? Because we didn't do it for the store. We only did it for the inventory items. That's why the inventory items are okay. Right? So the inventory items are okay. But the store items aren't. So that's what I want to implement right now, is get that put in there, because then we'll be done with this issue and we can ship it.
Ship it.
So in here, this is almost the exact same place we need to do it, right? Because I think okay. So what we'll do is let's go to this type.
Okay.
So we need to actually create. So what we're going to need is we're going to actually need to create a store state.
Yeah, store state or store item state?
Both.
Because this is a store state.
Shoot.
Store state. Store item state, maybe?
How about this? Let's change this one. Instead of this being store state, let's change this to. We just change it to store? That's the mod.
No, because store is the the actual object that you instance up.
How about that? Store inventory.
Works for me.
It is done and sold. All right. Yeah, so then now, sorry, state. You know. So I should go to that. Do you know if there's a quick, like a key command for that you can just like quickly open it up in a side panel? Like if you're in a file, you can just do it real quick.
I don't.
Okay.
And I do this all the time, especially with the big monitor. But
I feel like it's something that's there, and
like to make it just pop open like that.
Yeah. Oh. All right, cool. So what I want to do with this, maybe one of these. Let me cut that out, and I need to put this into a little drum and bass music going on here. Maybe help me go a little bit faster. All right, so then here we can now do. This So we need to, let's first get the state. So let's just do store inventory, state. All right, so
it should look a lot like the other one, right?
Yeah, actually, you know what? That's a good point. Copy that one over. That was from
that guy. That guy. No.
Yeah, no, it's not this. It's not this. It's from here.
That's the one. That's the one.
Right, so that I should be able to use. One other thing was the price.
You're gonna need to change that object.
I am.
Rice.
We pay for stuff in rice, don't we? Alright, so that's okay. Oh, I guess I didn't include link. And then we bring in the item it's buying. Oh.
It does not like that at all.
No, it's because this is actually store item.
Oh, yes. That it likes. Stupid names.
All right. So while we're in here, we'll also do the static one, right? So that's going to be the from, and now we're going to pass in the. Yeah. Names are very important. All right, so let me copy this one also from here. That was up here. So then here will be return new. I just got myself in my own head there for a second because I was thinking about some other stuff about how this code is laid out. And I was thinking about the store and how we have the state for the store, and like we don't have a good way of, like, if we upgrade the game and they want to be able to load an existing game but we want to add new items to the store, how do we define that?
Well, yeah.
I think that might be a problem for another day, is what I kind of came to the conclusion. So, and I need to go state that items buying. This actually needs to be a store item. Too many curly braces. Right?
Hang on.
Maybe I don't have enough curly braces.
Store item.
Yeah, that seems fine. Oh, I forgot the to list. There was somebody that tweeted the other day, and it was super funny. I wish I could find it. I think I maybe even retweeted it, but it was like somebody was like, he's like, I'm a senior programmer. I've been programming for 20 some odd years, and it's like, and I was stuck looking at this code for 15 minutes before I realized what was wrong with it. It was a real quick thing that it looked like it should have been a loop. Everything about it was a loop. It was like a standard for loop. It had a, an int x equals 0, and then x is less than whatever, and a thing. And it has the curly braces around it. And instead of having it as a for, it was an if statement. And so it kept failing to build, but it just could not see the if statement being there.
So instead of the word for, it had if, but then all the conditional stuff.
Yeah, so it was written like this. So it was written like I'll put it up here. So it was like if in x equal to 0, x less than length, x.
Oh my god, yeah.
Right?
That would be hard to see.
And then he had it doing something in here, and he was like I don't know. But he wasn't. I don't think he was using like Visual Studio that had the highlighting. So it just was like, and it's just like looking at it going like, I can't figure out. I couldn't figure out what was wrong with it. I was just like, it happens to everybody. That's the part that I think a lot of people that are just starting off programming are like, it's like, it seems like you just know everything. It's like, no, we've just done a lot of the mistakes already.
Yeah, so no. And it's, unless you wrote it, and recently, it kind of all looks like a mystery when you first pop it open. So, there's that too.
Wow. Yeah.
You have to parse it out for a minute, so weird stuff like that just looks kind of okay, you could get past. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Alright, the price in here. Should have it. Yeah. All right. I think that puts us in a pretty good spot right there. All right.
All right.
Now the only problem that I'm going to have is I don't have a file I can load to test this with. But what would be interesting is to actually modify this file. So this first one here, right? So that it has the right type in there. Because if I come up here, I should be able to
Yeah,
copy it
just
off
paste
the
it in.
yeah, it can copy it off the digger, right, or off the inventory. Hold on a second. That was on the inventory.
That's on the miner, right?
Yeah. So this
Or the
here,
store.
but I need to
The
add it to
store
the
ones we
store.
just did. So
Right. So the store. Oh, you know what? We're not going to be able to use it because we did it with metadata, right? So we did it with this metadata here. So
that's not going to work yet.
no, it's not going to work. So I have to start a new one. It didn't take that long, anyways. So I gotta say yes. No. Go to the store. We're going to buy 3 diggers. We're gonna equip. We're gonna equip a gem. We're gonna equip a Pete, and we're gonna equip Allison. Well, at least they're normal density instead of scarce.
Yeah.
It's not
Won't
great.
take too long.
Yeah, so I've been experimenting with getting with some of the JavaScript and the Canvas stuff, and trying to work out how to build that engine so we can start doing some of this on stream. In the I want to start doing some of the graphic stuff in there if we can.
That'd be cool.
Oh, gym needs to be repaired. That's crazy that both of those need to be repaired at the same time, because isn't the damage variable?
It is, but there's a roll within a range.
Yeah. Go to the store and I gotta sell chips. And then I got to buy bolts. Let's try buying 10 bolts.
Wow, it just wants those 11 bolts.
Jeez.
There you go, 9 bolts.
And I still gotta go back to the store and buy more bolts. I gotta repair Jim.
So it seems to me that as I've got it balanced now, the only ones that are really worth repairing are the rich ones.
Jim
So
breaks a lot.
You get bolts out of them.
Was that which one do you keep? You said
just the rich ones, because the other ones you just empty them and scrap them. You get the bolts to repair the rich ones, and you're better off spending the 10 tokens to buy a whole new digger than all those bolts. Like it just got it's just balanced wrong for like gameplay, really.
Well, that's why we want to create the files to do the thing, right? So you can play with
Right.
gameplay and try to figure out how to balance it.
Right, because bolts really shouldn't cost that much, or diggers should cost more, or something.
Yeah. So let me. So I can.
Buy the hopper.
No, I do want to buy it, but I need to empty. I need to empty everything. Hey, we got both of them now. So now I should be able to go to the store and then sell my chips, and then buy my large hopper. Cool. All right, so now I can save. Oh, saved. Just do item 1. So now, just before we even open that, just make sure.
Item 1.
So that means in our inventory we should have it looking right. So that looks good. And then now in our
That's the store. Did we not do the store right?
We did not do the store right. So what happened? Oh, shoot. So I didn't do the dot get state here,
Oh,
which is what I needed to do.
but
And
that's
then
the wrong type now.
yeah, that's all right. And see, this should now be select. Ooh.
Yes.
Excuse me. So now we need to do store inventory and do dot from.
Okay. I didn't know.
So now I need to go to this, and I need to change this from that to state.
Okay.
So now that's the right type.
Now, that doesn't exist yet? Is that what the deal is there? No, it
No,
does.
store inventory just wasn't referenced to be able to get to the type, right? So I just added it. So that's what I just added the type to that. All right,
Alright,
so
so
let's
it's
try.
just a reference.
Can't even load that previous one. Yes. Go by 3 diggers. Oh. Oh,
Command stuff too.
what's that?
We need to fix some of that command stuff too. Like the actual way the words work.
Well, yeah, and that's the thing for adding in that we're gonna need to add in as far as like even with the data that we store about it, right?
Got one
That's
good
not
one.
gonna be great. I know. We're gonna scrap a lot.
Gonna scrap a lot.
Close, so close.
You got another rich one at least.
Yeah, right. Hey, we got it. So, actually save right now and check it. All right, so
So we go
here's
to
the
store.
inventory. Ah, there we go. So now we're actually seeing it. I wonder if we should do something to. Not a big deal. I'll deal with that another time. Because we can change the JSON reader to basically say if these are empty to not show it.
Right. Yeah. It'll be alright.
Why? Uh-oh. I think I have something backwards. Right? So, items buying. There's digger, bolts, and large hopper.
Oh. Yeah,
Items
you
for sale.
averted those. I'm surprised to let you sell chips.
I thought you were... I think that's built in by default, isn't it?
Oh, maybe it doesn't even carry me. Just does it.
Yeah. Right? Yeah, I think it just does it. Oh, well, you know what? It's because I saved it. I haven't loaded it. So the save was broken.
Oh, so it saved it wrong. So when you load it up again, it's gonna be all jacked up. 'Cause it
Yeah.
missed your mark.
Yeah, the lists
Okay.
are reversed, so the load would have a problem, right? So items for sale. Ah, I put both of them in the same.
Little copy and paste action there.
Nah, I just typed it twice.
Oh, that one's
Yeah,
right.
so that one's okay because that's the load. That's the save. Well, at least we caught it. We didn't catch it with test, but we caught it. I feel like every time I say test, that'll get Jim's attention.
Yeah, right.
All right, so yeah, well, we're
Excuse me.
kind of getting to the wrap up point here. So I think what I would like to do, just to get this uh, cleaned up, is I want to break these out into their own files.
Did you run it yet to make sure it's working correctly? I mean, it should. I expect it to, but
I did not. 3 bigger control room. Equip.
come on. At least it's soft. Just slowly dig forever. Oh, scarce and hard. Hey, there's a rich.
All right.
Another rich.
Yeah, another rich. I got it scarce.
Oh,
Hey.
there's the achievement.
All right.
And the survey says
So inventory items there. Items for sale. That looks right. Now we have items for
it's
sale. Raw
fine. It's just
chips.
chips.
Yeah, because look, you even have the name as raw chips. So you must
Yeah,
not be
so
doing anything to even really.
yeah, that must just be like hard coded right into the store
Yeah.
command. All right, cool. That works. So I guess yeah, like you were saying, time to just pull all those extra classes out.
Yeah. So let me get those.
Not extra, but pull them out into their own appropriate places. Ugh.
Yeah. So get rid of all those. Yeah, I just want to have. I wonder if I can do it. Can I do it for all of these? Uh, I think so. I think the ability to move all the types into their own files that are in one is something that's available in ReSharper, but doesn't look
It
like
is. It is
Code
because it
Rush
opens
does
up.
it.
Yeah, it opens up all the classes that are in the file, and you can check them off.
Oh, oh no, that's namespace. And I was hoping this one might have like so. Sometimes these have an option on it that say like for all types or all, you know what I mean. Um, but it doesn't for this. I guess they're expecting you to do it. There's also a way to get back quicker. I could do it from the command. What's the control minus? Let's try that.
It's a 10-minute warning.
It's not in this one. So it's oh, maybe it was because I think I moved everything out now. So I think game item has something similar, right? So I got this.
There's that little static down there.
Yeah. I want to move this to here. the heck is this trying to save? What?
Is it trying to save the file?
Yeah, it was doing something weird.
What was all that progress about? I wonder.
I have no idea. Now I'm wondering what broke. Okay. It seems to have done what I wanted it to. I don't know what that other thing was about. Um, so I think that's good.
Got some. Probably want to clean up those usings and stuff. Because now you pulled all those classes out. Look like there were some dead ones.
Nope.
Oh, no, I guess it is okay. Never mind.
I mean, I could remove like the system, but I think
Yeah, but
that's
that's
fine being there. Because then you actually do that remove like that, it updates the types on it. All right, so now that
yeah.
we've,
Okay.
you know what I mean?
Hmm.
Yeah. So, this is. I was like, "Ooh, what? I didn't touch these ones." Oh, that might be why that other one was upset and wanted to save because that type was somewhere. This was store inventory. Okay.
Is that like all gone? Is that what we're seeing there? That whole file? Store state? We just renamed it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay. So it was weird though because I was looking at it and where it was made me concerned. That's why I was like, wait, something's wrong there. Yep. Store inventory. Yeah. So this is how we add the persistence in for the game items. I That looks good. Yes, we have the abstract. That should be very helpful. We should, before we commit this, is run all the tests to make sure that they're all working properly.
The
Because,
ones that we have, right?
yeah, just to make sure that they're okay, because we don't have a lot, but we have them. I think,
All ran.
yeah, like that, 188 milliseconds. One of the other ones that I have that I'll probably have to bring in at some point is I do have NCrunch, which has a runner that is runs all the time. And so what's really cool about it that I like the most, I have to see, maybe it wasn't working with .NET Core, which might have been why I hadn't been using it. But what's nice about it is that on here along your code, it'll actually show if there's any tests that are running against this piece of code that have failed. So as you change and save, it'll rerun all your tests.
So you can see if you broke something like right away.
Like right away. So like in here, you get the little green check marks that these were good, which is awesome. But what's nice is that if you go and you look into this apply upgrade, in there you would actually see each line with a check mark that's green.
For where it was exercised.
Well, what it really is saying is that this code doesn't have any failing tests executing it.
Okay.
So if one of those tests started failing, I would get a red X. And if you hover over it, it'll tell you what the test is that's failing. And then you can jump to the test and see what test is failing because of the changes that you made. I have used it, but I think it was having problems originally with not supporting .NET Core. I want to see if this will kind of show you here. Yep, come on. No, just jump in. Right, see the little green dots? Come on, show the cool stuff. No, it's trying to show you all of its functionality. There's a portion of it that shows it.
Well, that's kind of a neat feature, though.
Yeah. I don't know what was the pricing on it. Yeah, it's kind of expensive, but it's cheaper than getting Enterprise.
Yeah.
Because Enterprise has it built in, right? So you could use it
yeah.
as part of that. I was trying to see if let me see. Crunch .NET Core support. See if interesting.
Nope. Oh, maybe.
No.
No, there it is.
Yeah, there it is. But you have to be in Visual Studio. That was the other thing, is you had to be in Visual Studio, I think, and I was, at the time when I was working on it, I wasn't using Visual Studio. And I wanted to get this to work within VS Code. They don't have, like, VS Code doesn't really have anything that's like this. But .NET Core does have the functionality to be able to do .NET watch test, and that will basically rerun the test every time there's a file change.
So similar kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. All right, so that's all good. So I can submit all these changes, and we will say fix.
Usually put the episode percentage.
No, that's on the name of the branch.
Ah, yes, there it is.
Oh, you know what? What did I name this branch? Because I think I may have named it wrong. Oh no, I did it right. Yes, I do episode and then EP 2019. So it's named right. On game item.
And for the store state as well. Fleshed out the store state. So we can save the store items.
And inventory. Alright, there we go. Push that up. We submit that. And then what I do like about it here is that now you can do start pull request. And I can come down to the bottom here and I can say edit on GitHub. And it basically just opens it up with it all ready to go.
Oh, bam.
Right? So I like that.
I actually had to reinstall Gitkraken. I don't know what happened. Remember I was saying that? I was like, it's just gone.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if they just decided that whatever version I had they don't support anymore or what, but it was like I don't remember uninstalling it. It was just gone.
I haven't had anything like that happen.
Yeah, it was really weird. And that the spot where the tile went on my little start menu was gone. It was open. It was weird. But I reinstalled it. It's fine. So.
That's crazy.
Strange stuff.
How to save. I'm trying to think how to put it. How to save inherited types to JSON. There we go.
There you go.
And I got it to develop, and that's good, and it's one file. All right, just make sure. I already created it, but I wanted to make sure it was just the one. They've gotten better, GitHub, with their comparison. Their side-by-side comparison used to be awful.
Yeah, it's not bad.
They've also, I think there was another piece that there was some other stuff that they added that I was like, oh, finally they kind of brought it up to line with what Bitbucket was actually doing. Awesome. All right.
It's always a good idea to scroll through there like you just did before you considered a done deal
Yeah,
for those of you playing at home.
just trying to make sure as much as I can. All right. I
So I
think
guess that's a wrap.
that is a wrap.
All right,
And
everybody.
yeah, I think that's good stuff. I will get the stream uploaded as soon as I can.
All right. Thanks,
So,
everybody, for joining us.
yes, thank you very much. And everyone have a great evening.
Good night.
Toodles. Hey, where was that thing?